Hey, what's up, DFS Rico, coming at you with my picks and insight for this KBO 5-game slate on Monday, May 4th on DraftKings. So we got a 5-game slate, but before I get started, if you can subscribe, like, comment if you have any questions, I really do appreciate it. Been getting a decent amount of subscribers lately, but let's get started. So, gonna be completely honest with you, pretty sure like everybody else, we're all new to this KBO baseball scene, but I have been playing regular Major League Baseball DraftKings for a while now, so I do get kind of the gist of it. It kind of plays the same as far as like how you build your lineups and how you attack the slates, how you're attacking the weaker pitchers is the way I'm going to approach it personally, and the way it's worked for me since the scoring is the same as like regular baseball, well, MLB baseball. I'm just going to attack it the same way. It's barely the first slate, so we don't have a lot of stats on these guys for this season. Well, any stats on them for this season, so I'm just kind of going based off of their stats for last season. Most of the teams seem to have stayed the same other than some teams losing some key pitchers, like the Doosan Bears lost their MVP player, their pitcher, Lynn Bloom. He went back to he went to the major leagues, and he was the MVP last season. He was their ace, so that's a huge hit, but for the most part, as far as like batting rotations, most of them stayed the same. It's usually just pitchers that leave from this league to the major league. It seems like, at least. But after doing some research, I kind of got some numbers that I liked and some stacks that I'm looking to attack. But mainly the same thing, like I mentioned, in all like baseball. For me personally, when I would play baseball, I just usually stack the pitchers. Not stack the pitchers, but I play the pitchers that I feel really comfortable in their matchup, and then I kind of just stack against the pitchers that I want to attack the most, that I feel like are the worst pitchers on the slate. For this slate specifically, if I'm looking at pitchers, I mean, you got your starters right here. They finally got them all in here. I'm looking at playing, I have kind of, for right now, I have 4 pitchers. Since I don't play that many lineups, I have kind of 4 pitchers in my player pool, which I'm playing Hyunjung Yang from the Kia Tigers, which he is playing against a good team, but lately he's been looking solid even in the preseason, because they did have their preseason and he's been looking pretty solid. Last season he led the league in ERA, so that's why his price tag is so high, but he is playing a really good young team from what I've seen, and like just stats that I was looking at for every team. He is going against a tough team, so I feel people won't play him that much. I think a lot of people will be leaning towards playing Rucinski and Kingham for the NC Dinos and the SK Wyverns. I think a lot of people will be looking at stacking them two together, especially like in cash. I think they'll feel more confident in them. They have the better matchups as far as teams and records from what they were last season. Like Samsung Lions were one of the worst teams in the league last year. You got the Lot Giants weren't too good last year, and they're pitching out there Dan Straley. If you played enough MLB DFS over the couple years, you know he's not that good at all. So a lot of the pitchers that I'm going to be playing is going to be Yang, Brigham in that same matchup. I think that's going to be a pitching matchup between those two teams. That's what I'm hoping it is too, because I'm going to be looking at playing them a pretty decent amount. And then Rucinski and Kingham. Those are probably the 4 pitchers. The 4 priciest pitchers are the ones I'm going to be looking at playing. The other 6 pitchers, I'm not too confident in them. The ones I'm going to be attacking the most is probably Saupold for HAN, for the Hanwha Eagles, which are the second worst team in the league last year. And then Jung Yun Baek. That's another team. Sorry, I'm probably going to be butchering all these names, but those are the teams I'm going to be attacking. I'm going to be probably attacking HAN, Samsung, LG, and KTW. Same like regular baseball. You're just going to be attacking the players that you know are going to be bad for the most part. The pitchers, at least. That's the way I'm going to play it. We don't know how bad they're going to be or how good they're going to be, because it's barely the first game of the season, but that's the way I'm going to be looking at it early on right now. So early on, I'm probably going to be plugging in like Yang in my lineups and then probably pairing him up with one of these guys like Kingham, Rasinski, or Brigham. I do really like them. And I feel like a lot of the ownership and pitching, like I mentioned, is going to be Rasinski and Kingham. Just because a lot of their names are more well known than some of these other players in the league, since they did used to play in the big leagues. And then the players I'm going to be tagging, which I'll go to right now, I'm going to just plug in Kingham right there. But one team I'm really looking at is NC Dinos. I really did like them from what I've seen. They led the league in home runs last season. Nothing in their roster really changed except they're going to get one of their best players back, which I'll go into him right now. He's only 3K as well for the NC Dinos. He was 3K right here. Sung Bum Na. He sat out for most of the season last year. He was on pace, playing really, really well. He's one of their best players. He's probably the first or second best player on the team. And I'm assuming he's ranked 3K because he sat out more than half the season last season. He's an outfielder, 3K. Solid. I do like plugging him in at the outfield spot. I like this NC Dinos a lot. At third baseman, you got Sukmin Park. Pretty solid player from what I've seen. His stats were pretty good. I could go through their numbers, but it'll be a long day if I was just going through their numbers. So I'm hoping after a couple of days we'll have a good foundation on all these players. Second baseman, Ming Woo Park. Second priciest second baseman with good reason. I mean, his numbers were off the chart. Left-handed batter. Their middle of their lineup is really solid, and most of these guys bat in the middle or the front of their lineup. Then the other player I want to talk about is their catcher. Priciest catcher on the slate, 4.5K. Led the entire league in practically all slash ratings. He had 354 batting average, 438 on-base percentage, and 574 slugging percentage, and he had 20 home runs for a catcher. He's insane. He's practically one of the best players in the league, probably the best hitter in the league. So I do really like these NC Dinos. Another team I'm really looking at stacking is the Doosan Bears, the SK Wyverns, the KT Wiz, and even the Lot Giants. I think the KT Wiz and the Lot Giants are the two teams where I'll be like stacking with one of these pricier teams, because I think the Bears, the Wyverns, and the Dinos are like the priciest teams on the slate. Oh, the Wizards are pretty pricey too, actually, so have to be careful with them. A lot of household names, it looks like, on there. But thanks for watching. That's really all I wanted to talk about. Hopefully we could get more input on these after like a week or two, more like a foundation on these guys. But yeah, just Doosan Bears, SK Wyverns, NC Dinos, KT Wiz, and Lot Giants is really where I'm looking at stacking early on as of right now. But things could change, obviously. Once these lineups come out and prices come out, well, we'll know who's playing and who's starting. Will change, I feel like, a lot of things. But normally I'm looking at these 4-man or 5-man stacks on my lineups. And then normally I try to go with a 5-man stack, and then the last three I either go like 2-1, or sometimes naked. So I just play them 3 random players from every team, but that are in a good matchup or either in a good spot in the rotations, usually what I try to look for. But this is what I'm looking at early on. Not like I mentioned, I don't play a ton of lineups, but I do like these pitchers that I mentioned. I do like the matchups that I mentioned. And hopefully all plays out well. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Let's get